Good morning, y'all. It's Megan here on the Lawson Farm. Today, I'm going to be pickling some beets. Usually pickled beets, I know especially like here in the South, that is like a staple that you've got to have, you know, with Thanksgiving dinner, different things like that. You just can't beat some good pickled beets. So this year planted me a whole row of beets. So took my little boy's wagon out there and filled it up. So I'm going to show you all the variations of sizes that I have here. See my little kiddie pool? Yeah, we're preparing for a hot day. So this one right here, that's a decent size. Ones that are about that size, I'll leave them whole when I can them. Then, let's see if I can find. Now this one here, that's a good size one, and I have a few that are bigger than this. Now I'll cut and quarter those and do them that way, you know, the bigger ones. But the smaller ones, I like to pull them when they're small because I like to leave the little ones whole. But anyway, so our first step is going to be I've got to get these in the house. Got to get them washed off, and then we're going to put them in a pot of boiling water. See y'all in a minute. Alright guys, so before we get too carried away, so I went and washed these, washed them with the water hose. I'll wash them a little better once I get in the house. So we've got to boil these. You want your beets to still be that pretty burgundy color, so we've got to leave part of this stem here, okay? I've got my kitchen scissors, and they work good for doing this, but you want to leave at least a couple inches so they don't bleed. That's what they call it, bleeding. So you need to go through all your beets and do that before you start boiling them. I know some people like to use the beet juice to make pickled eggs. That's something I'm really wanting to try this year. That's what makes your pickled eggs pink. So these leaves that I'm cutting off of here, I've heard you can eat them. I personally am not going to, but my goats sure do love them. So try not to let too much go to waste around here. I'll make them a nice little pile, and I'll take these leaves to them. So I'm going to get these things cut up. One thing about pickled beets, it is a time-consuming process, but it's worth it. They're so good. So I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Alright, so I got my beets cleaned, and now I've got them in the pot. So one tip I'm going to give you about making pickled beets is make sure that you put the big beets, because I had some that were probably this big. Make sure you put those in the bottom of the pot because they're going to take longer to cook. So what we're going to do is I've got the beets themselves pretty much completely submerged in this water, and after they get a little softer they'll go down a little more into the pot. But they're going to have to boil for roughly 30 minutes, 40 minutes after they do come to a full boil to get these things softened up. You want them to be so soft that you can easily stick a fork through them. So that's your tester there, is you get you a fork and you stick it in it and see how soft it is. So I'm going to let these things get to boiling. I got some green beans to string, so I'm going to do that in the meantime. Alright guys, so here comes the messy part. So my beets have boiled, they're fork tender. I got my little pot boiling a little bit longer, but the ones that were in my big pot, they are ready. So what I did was I poured them out into cold water into the sink because we've got to get the skin to let go. Alright, so they're cooling off, and they get really hot, so I like to put a little ice in my water too after I pour them in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut that root off now, and we're gonna cut these stems off. Okay, so see what I did there? And now the skin should just peel right off. You just pinch it a little bit. See how easy that's coming off? Now if your beets are not completely done, it is not going to come off this easy. Been there, done that. I'm talking from experience. And then it'll make you want to pull your hair out. So just make sure your beets are done. Alright, see there? Good and clean. I'm just going to put them in this bowl here. until I'm ready to put them in my jars. So again, I'm going to show you. So we're going to cut this off, and we're going to cut this off. And now, you know, I was talking earlier, I said I don't like to waste stuff. So this will go to my pigs, because, you know, they like it. Alright, so I've got that cut off. See there? Now we're going to pinch. And that should just peel off. Okay? But yeah, this beet skin and everything I'm going to take to my little pigs. They'll love it. And you may hit some hard spots, like that one didn't want to quite come off. But they should be good and clean, like this. Now, the size of this one here, I'm going to quarter it. So I'll cut it. I'm going to show y'all, because I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to cut it like this, because that's a little too big to pickle whole. So see there? Cut it into quarters. I'm just going to put that in my bowl until I get them all cut up. Alright, so I got my beets cut up and skinned. I'm ready to make my brine now. So this recipe that I use comes out of the ball canning book. If you don't have a ball canning book and you're planning on canning, go ahead and get you one, because it is so helpful and it has a lot of good recipes and stuff in it. So what we're going to need is 2.5 cups of vinegar. We're going to need 3 tablespoons of pickling spice. I actually got this off of Amazon last year. It has no expiration date. It'll last you as long as you need it to. It wasn't expensive. So, just got me some pickling spice here. Now, you can either, hang on guys, you can either put this in a little baggie and just like sit it in your brine to let it get the flavor, or you can just put it straight in there. Y'all know that I try to do things the easiest way possible. So guess what? I just put it in there. But we need 3 tablespoons of that. So, got that in there. Need a cup of water. Let me grab me some water. Alright, there's a cup of water. Need a cup of sugar. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let that come to a simmer for roughly 15 minutes so that sugar and everything can get melted, and then we'll be ready to put our stuff in the jars. See y'all in a minute. So I've got all my jars full. I did pint jars and half pint jars. I like to give these as gifts, my little jars. So now we're ready. So what we're going to do, this is simmered for 15 minutes. Let me close my cabinet doors. So this is simmered for 15 minutes. It's ready to put in there. So I got my spoon ladle. I've got me a little filter inside of my funnel to filter out some of the pickle and spice. But it's not going to hurt it if you put it in there. I mean, it's not going to make a difference. So we'll just ladle that in there. And I'll do enough to make sure that my beets are covered. Now, if you have more beets than you have liquid, don't panic. Just do this same process over again, but maybe, you know, just depending on how many jars you have left, maybe just cut it in half, which is probably more than likely what I'm going to have to do in this situation, because I had a few more than I thought I was going to have. So, alright, so I got those beets covered. Got my lids boiling. My jars have been sterilized already before I started today. So my lids, well, I'm waiting on them to start boiling. And you'll just want to make sure, because this is such a messy process, that you wipe off the rims before you put the lids on there. So I'll just do that like with a paper towel to make sure the rim is clean. Because that can come in, you know, that can affect your sealing process if there's something on that rim. So I'm just going to go through these and get them filled up. Alright, so with your pickled beets, you want to do a hot water bath for 30 minutes. My little pot only holds 3 or 4 jars at a time, so I went through all these. You can see my green beans here, they're coming up next. You know, went through all these. I'm going to show you the finished product. They've all sealed so far.
Mama, can I help?
Come on. Alright, so just watch out. This is going to be hot. So this is my last little jars here. And we'll be done with our beet pickles. So I always just put them on a towel. Let them cool off. You'll hear the jar start popping soon. That scares me. That one fell over. There we go. That one. It's okay. Alright. So, that's how you make beet pickles. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments. Let me know how you make your beet pickles if it's different than what I do. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you'd like to. Plan on doing a video on my green beans next. Stop, Jacob.
Okay.
That's my little boy. He's my little helper. But, so anyways, yeah, again, please remember to like and subscribe if you hadn't already. Check us out on Facebook, True Grit Southern Cooking and Canning. On Instagram, TG_Southern Cooking and Canning. Also, the farm itself has a page, the Lawson Farm, if you want to check us out. So, see y'all next time.